Hello, my name is Father Lynn McMillan, and welcome to Exploring Catholicism. Hello, my name is Father Lynn McMillan, and we're covering meal number 9. So remember, there's 10 meals in the Gospel of Luke. Meal number 9 and 10 deal with the resurrection. But the Eucharist is this feast of the resurrection. And so meal number 9 is the breaking of the bread. It's sometimes called the road to Emmaus. Now, in the other meals, Jesus is seen as the Messiah. But in the last 2 meals, Jesus is called Lord, which really means Yahweh, God. So these are 2 exclusive meals, and the moral obligation is actually to live in the resurrection. Now, a little background. In the Old Testament, God demands how people worship is called the Kahal Yahweh. There's 4 parts to it. The procession, or the gathering of the people. The second part is the reading of the law, the liturgy of the word. The third part is a sacrifice, which seals the law. And then the fourth is this dispersal. So it's an ancient way of celebrating. It's also the 4 parts of the Mass, but it's the 4 actions that happen on the road to Emmaus. And so these 2 disciples, they are running away from Jerusalem. And just the number 2 should remind you that Jesus sends them out 2 by 2 on this mission to the world. 2 people go to the tomb. 2 men are dressed in white at the tomb, saying, "Why are you looking for the living one among the dead?" But these 2, they're not on mission. They're actually jumping ship. They're running away. They're going to Emmaus, which is the wrong direction. And so it actually calls them in the Greek presbyters, priests. And so they're actually abandoning. And in the resurrection, Jesus goes after them. They're on the road to Emmaus, which is 7 miles away, and they're going the wrong direction. And it says on that same day of the week. So that's Sunday. So it happens on the Sunday, the first day of creation. And they tell the story to this stranger. They welcome this stranger. And it says that these women went to the tomb looking for a body. Now, in the Greek, it says they're looking for a living body. But the 2 disciples think it means like a corpse, a dead body. And they greet the stranger. So that's really important because, remember, the Gospel of Luke starts with the story of Mary and Joseph, who are in need of medical attention. And it starts with, it says, there's no place of hospitality, means the human heart, that they couldn't welcome the stranger. So Jesus was not welcomed at his birth, but now in the resurrection, even with broken humanity, and that's what the 2 presbyters are. They're broken, but they know enough about the way of Christ that they can welcome the stranger. And it says, but their eyes were prevented from recognizing him. And I remember this made a great impact when this monk, Jeremy Driscoll, said at the seminary, why couldn't they recognize the presence of Christ? If they spent all that time with Christ, how come they couldn't recognize him? And he blew me away when he says, well, maybe because Christ came as a woman or an 8-year-old girl or an old man. And the story just keeps repeating that Christ came as a stranger. It doesn't describe what the stranger is like. And the point being is that if our eyes were truly open, we would see the presence of Christ in a whole bunch of people. And the odd part is they assume that the stranger, Christ, doesn't know the full story about Christ. It's kind of funny because the first part is a gathering. They gather with Christ. Same thing we do at Mass. The second part is a liturgy of the word. And they think the stranger knows nothing about Christ. But the twist is they're the ones that don't know the presence of Christ right in front of them. So it reminds me of this joke about Benjamin Franklin, where Benjamin Franklin said, I knew a man who could say the word horse in 10 languages, but when he went to the farm, he saddled the cow. People think that they know a lot, but they really don't have an experience. So they're the ones who are saying, don't you know what happened? Well, yeah, it actually happened to Christ. And then Christ goes through the entire Bible, educating him how Christ had to suffer and die. He goes through the whole liturgy. He gives us great homily. So that's the liturgy of the word. The third part is the breaking of the bread. And he gives the impression that he's going a little bit further, and he is. He's going to heaven. The Gospel of Luke always makes this deal about the Ascension, that the Eucharist helps us ascend into the presence of Christ. And the term breaking the bread is the early church term for the Eucharist. And so in the breaking the bread, their eyes were finally opened. And they immediately change direction and head back to Jerusalem. So the breaking the bread is the Eucharist. The changing of the direction is a dismissal rite, that at the end of Mass we are sent out. They immediately start heading back to Jerusalem. So the point of is at the Eucharist, our eyes in the breaking the bread are open to see Christ in the stranger, in Scripture, in the bread, and doing the work of Christ in the world. And so if you want to be true to the Gospel of Luke, meal number 9 is sharing in the resurrection, where our eyes are open to see Christ in a lot of places. If you like today's topic, please consider joining us a Tuesday morning in the Great Room following daily Mass. God bless. Okay, you ready? What am I supposed to say?